Ladies and gentlemen, and assembled company, welcome to the World Storytelling Cafe. And tonight, it is the last episode of, we're hanging on by our fingertips because so many cliffhangers in this, but it's the last episode of Paro and Anand's magnificent novel. There it was. So yes, this keeps publishers happy. Show the cover. Show the cover. Right. And speaking Tigers publication, I got the publisher right this week.
Yes.
Of Nomad's Land, and it's been fantastic. I mean, what we've had is glimpses of the book for the last few weeks, but what you really need is to get the book. And we're being very literary tonight. We've got Paro now, and then at 7:30 there is the British Morocco Society of Morocco British. I haven't got it in front of me. One of the two has a book launch of about Morocco with lots of different Morocco, which is lots of different writers. So we've got two book launches tonight. So we're ahead of the curve because next Thursday is World Book Day. So we're just having our World Book Day a little earlier. We've got India, we've got Morocco, which magnificent. So without further ado, and Michael, that looks wonderful. Without further ado, I'm going to pass across to Paro and Andros. We'll run out of time and we'll be into the Moroccan thing before she's had a chance to speak. So, Paro, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so excited because I'm doing something which I've never done before. I've written books and I've certainly read out some of the picture books which are for younger children. I have never, though, read a whole novel through for an audience, and I must say you've been a wonderful audience. So without further ado, I'm now this is a book that's divided into three parts. Book one, which is, of them wanderings. Book two, which is the breathtaking, and of how Shana, the Kashmiri Pandit girl, becomes a breath taker for Pema, the Kushavan tribe's girl, to perform that ceremony for her grandmother. And yes, of course, this is a story about two nomadic people forced into becoming nomads, because forced to becoming homeless, forced to cut their roots and flee. So now the third part. And the name of this chapter is I Forgot Myself for a Minute. When Shana came back next weekend from school, she found her mother down in the mouth again. Finally, she had managed to pick her mother up for the first time since Shana's father had been killed. Her mother had managed to get out of bed, to be herself, to be reborn again. But now she was down in the mouth, looking grayer again. Shana pried the truth out of her. Your Nani, your grandmother is right, Shana. It's just not appropriate. I forgot myself there for a minute, but I realize this now. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Shana stood there, shocked and hurt. At lunch prepared by her grandparents, the grayness of the bland food didn't just depress her, it infuriated her. It was this grayness that hung about this house that had dissolved her mother into nothing again. She gulped down some water, both to help swallow the grey lump of food and also so that she wouldn't shout at her grandparents. She knew she would have to do this very calmly. She started by thanking them. Nana, Nani, thank you for all your help, for taking me in and my mother in when our lives were in shambles after Papa died. Shana went on to thank them for opening their home to them when they needed it most. Although her voice sounded formal and insincere, she actually did mean it. She wouldn't have been able to do this without them. Shana's mother was too broken and Shana herself was too helpless. But she wasn't so helpless now. She had become a breath taker. She was taking decisions, independent decisions, and she intended to go on doing that. She then launched into what she really wanted to say. Nana Nani, I have seen my mother crumble to nothing, and you helped rebuild her back to life again. But now you've got to let her live that life again. You've given birth to your daughter not once, but twice. How many parents can say they've done that? But now, let her live. Let her live. She emphasized the words as deeply as she could. Shana did wish that she had enough money and independence to take her mother to a new home of their own, just mother and daughter, where there would be no restrictions on her mother's laughter, on the clothes her mother wore. She knew her mother could be so much more than just a grieving widow, that she had been confined, imprisoned into being. She knew that she wanted her mother to spend her life out of the shadows of grieving. She had many years ahead of her. This was no way to live, if you could call it living. Ma had enough money of her own, really. There was insurance money from the shop and the muavza, the compensation that the government gave when someone was killed by a terrorist attack. But Shana knew that she couldn't persuade her mother that easily. Shana was now determined. She and Pema had taken the decision to become doctors, seeing how their elders were suffering from the pollution of the city, from the closedness of the city. They wanted to become doctors who would marry the old traditional medicine with new modern medicine. That's what they had decided. But for that, first Shana needed to do something very brave. Almost as if the universe had heard her decision, the phone rang. It was Pema, excited and breathless. Huma had sent a reply. What does she say? I don't know. I haven't opened the letter yet. Well, open it then, quick, read it out. Huma, just to remind you, is the friend who Shana spurned and shied away from because Huma was a Muslim and Shana had been taught that Muslims were the enemy and that they had killed her father. And so she had refused. But then she, persuaded by Pema, writes a letter to Huma. And now there's a reply. Pema, her voice shaking with an emotion that wasn't even hers, began to read. Dear Shana, my sister, my friend. Shana almost burst into tears then and there. Pema continued, but as the words unfolded, to Shana it became Huma's voice, not Pema's, that was reading the letter out. My dearest sister, how I have longed to hear from you. No, I have longed for much more than that. I have waited to hear your voice, see your beautiful face, look into your eyes. I have longed to wrap my arms around you and cry on your shoulder. For all of us have lost, you and I. Yes, Shana, I too have lost. I don't think you could have heard. Some militants came to our house one night and they took Shire. Who's Shire? Pema's voice broke into Shana's thoughts. Shire, her brother. Why would militants take him? He's Muslim. I thought they were just against non-Muslims. Read on, Pema, quick. We don't know. We didn't know that the militants had been demanding money from Shire. A lot of money. He was trying to arrange it, borrow it from here and there, but he couldn't put it together. So they came for him. One night, Shana, they came. Ammi ran out, trying desperately to stop them as they dragged Shire out. Abu was trying to pull her back, and all I could hear was screaming. Then suddenly, shots were being fired. Bang, 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 bang. At first, I couldn't tell who was shooting or who they were shooting at. But they took him, Shana. They took our Shire away in a jeep. It was only after they left that we realized that Ammi was on the ground. She had been shot in the legs. They'd shot her so she couldn't follow. She wasn't even crying from pain, just for her son, her taken away son. Shana could barely hear the next words. They were already in her fearful heart. As Pema read out the words, Shire's body was dumped in front of the house 2 nights later. And Huma's mother had had to get one leg amputated in order to save her life. And I'm going to just stop there for a minute. This incident of the boy being taken away and the mother running after and being shot in the legs, this is a true story. We met that mother. The son was killed. And that the image of her and the warmth of her and the way she enveloped me in an embrace has stayed with me and finally found a place here in this book. But more than all that tragedy in the letter, it was the end of the letter that hit Shana the hardest. I wish I'd been able to meet you that one last time, Shana, my sister. I wish I could have told you that we are not all like that, not all of us. You are still my sister. Your home is still here in Kashmir. Please remember, we are not all militants. We had nothing to do with your father's tragedy. But if you feel we did, then I am so very sorry. On behalf of all of us, I apologize. Come back, my sister. Come back one more time. Give me one more chance. This is your home. This will always be your home. Love from your forever sister, Uma. Then I'm jumping ahead a little bit. I've been trying to select passages that will keep the flow, but there's lots of chunks that, of course, I can't read out. Can't spend that much time, can't take that much of your time. So Shana is at home and she has again worked on her mother and said, live your life, pick yourself up. I need a mother. I've lost my father. I need my mother. And Shana's mother believes her daughter. She wants to live for her daughter. Shana's mother emerged from her room. She had brushed her hair and tied it into a neat bun like she used to in the olden days. But more important, she had stood in front of a mirror and worn the red bindi that had stayed there on her mirror for a long, long time. Probably never to be worn again. Nani's eyes as wide and her mouth was open in horror. She fairly leapt forward to remove the bindi. After all, it was the mark of a married woman, forbidden for widows to wear. How dare you! But Shana's mother had her hand up in her own and she grabbed her mother's hand. And with another, she held on to the other arm, preventing her from reaching up and taking the red dot off. So of course, for widows, color is forbidden, wearing the bindi is forbidden. But Shana persuades her mother to be again, to be alive again. Shana called a family meeting. She summoned up all her courage. She made her mother and grandparents sit down and she made them some noon chai, the salt tea that would bring back memories of home. Her mother knew what was coming, but she promised her daughter not to speak and let her have her say. Nana Nani, I am tired of living with hate, with the memory of hate, Shana began. I hated for a while, yes. I hated those who I was told to hate. But I'm done. I'm done with it. If you were to come to my school and meet the girls there, you'd end up seeing my point too. Why don't you come? Come and meet them, talk to them. For no real reason, they hate other groups of girls. They won't eat their food that comes from their homes. If they're distributing sweets on their birthdays, they leave those girls out. Not one of those girls has done anything bad to each other, but still they follow hate as though it's a religion. Don't you think it's time to change? Hate grows when we feed it. And we children who have no cause to hate are taught to hate. Think of it. A baby is not born to hate. Then where does it come from? Where do we learn? Anyway, what I wanted to say is that I am done with it. I cannot live a life where I hate and fear my friends, people who were more like family than friends and neighbors. I choose to re-embrace them now. I'm choosing love over hate. There was a long silence. And Shana waited with bated breath. And they get into an argument. I'm not going to read too much of that. And Shana tries to get them to remember neighbors who had been friends, who had been family. I want to be that bridge. No, not want. I will be that bridge. I will not hate. And how will you do that? Asked the grandfather. I am going back. I'm going back to Kashmir. A stunned silence followed. No one went back, not those amongst them. How was this slip of a girl taking such decisions now? Eventually, Shana filled the silence with an explanation of what she and Pema had planned. She told them frankly and honestly about speaking to Huma. She told them that they both had a legacy to carry on, a legacy that would die out if people like her didn't do something about it. I want to do it for Kashmir, for Kashmiris, and Pema wants to do it for the Kushavans, for the heritage that is ours, but it is dying, and I won't let it. So she goes, and Pema goes, accompanied by Shana's mother, who takes the decision that she is going to go back to Kashmir as well. A huge and powerful decision. As the plane touches down, the girls disembark. Pema grabs Shana's arms, pointing upwards with her free hand. It's true. It's really true. What? Forever skies. They really, really are forever skies. Shana looks at her mother, a big smile on her face, but she sees that Ma's hand is almost white. She's been holding the armrest of the plane seat so tight. Shana pats her hand to try and reassure her, but Ma is lost in thoughts and memories. Shana hopes she's going to be all right. Right outside, Huma stands, shifting from one foot to the other, as Shana knows she does when she is nervous. But as soon as Huma sees her long-lost friend, she bursts into tears and she buries her face into her father's mirror. Dropping her bags, Shana runs to her, and they're weeping and hugging and holding on to each other like they will never let go. And the security forces, who are meant to keep the passengers inside and the visitors outside, just watch the scene, their hearts melting at least a little. Huma's father goes up to Shana's mother and awkwardly pats her shoulder. There was a time when they would have greeted each other more warmly, but that time has passed. Or maybe it lies ahead. Pema stands awkwardly on one side, waiting for them to come back from this emotional reunion. From all that Shana has told her about how they left, Pema is almost surprised by how warmly they take Shana back into their fold. She feels a pang in her heart. She's never going to know this kind of acceptance where she comes from. There is no one left to wrap their arms around her, no one left to cry in relief to see her back where she belongs. Where do I belong? Pema wonders, feeling almost jealous of the loving scene behind her. Pema's hair is a shield in front of a downcast face, but she nods and whispers. Maybe, yes, maybe this nomad can come home too. For now, you are one of us. You're a Kashmiri, Huma says. Pema smiles and nods. She grins at her friend and says, and you, my friend, are not only a Kushavan, you are a Druyo Sang, a breath taker, holy to my people. The girls laugh. A new adventure is about to unfold before them. Here, under forever skies, a strange family unites. Some estranged friends and some strangers are brought together by chance. and tied together by hope. They are bound by love and by common purpose. The young girls will be hunting for roots together. But more than that, not just medicinal roots for medicines that they're going to learn about. They are going to set down new roots, roots of family, roots of love. These nomads have finally found a family. They have found their land. Even nomads have a land to call their own. Nomad's land.
Paro,
Wonderful.
that was amazing. Thank you so much for coming on to Cafe and this last few weeks and sharing it with us. Yeah, please don't be a stranger to us now we've done this. We had, especially on the 21st of March, we have our 1 year celebration. We did our first broadcast on the 23rd of March last year, but on the 21st is we're getting, well, it's a worldwide story round, but it would be wonderful if you were part of that. You've been so much part of the cafe this last year. So if you could just come and be one of the just a small bit, just a contributor to that night on the 21st of March, that would be fantastic.
John, I would love to, and there are lots more stories to share. But really, Ali, John, and everybody who's here, don't thank me. I have to thank you for this wonderful opportunity of sharing my words with the world, and for the challenge that you put before me to serialize a novel. I haven't done it before, but it's something that's it's so exciting. I'm going to do it again, definitely going to do it again with one of the other novels. And in May, I have a new book coming in May, which is a collection of short stories called Unmasked.
Well, you know where you're going to do your virtual launch, don't you?
Yeah, yes.
You know, we'll be most offended. Lucy, who's down there, who's rarely that we rarely see, but the whole of this cafe was Lucy's inspiration and Lucy's idea.
Thank you, Lucy. Thank you. And next month, I actually have two books coming out, two little picture books coming out. One is called Sometimes a Baby, and it's about different kinds of family. And one is called Mama's Pocket, which is a very inclusive story, but for little babies, because as some of you know, I have 3 6-month-old grandsons.
Fantastic.
Well, maybe on Friday nights we have stories for children. So maybe when that comes up, we can launch those. I mean, you will be launching them in India, obviously, but as most writers, we have multiple launches. There's never a launch in just one place.
Absolutely. And this I wanted to share with you is a Kashmiri shawl. It's very beautiful.
Oh, beautiful. Is that embroidered?
It's embroidered, yes.
That's amazing, isn't it?
And I wore it tonight for the finale of Nomad's Land.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That is a very nice, amazing book.
Thank you.
It is. I mean, the depth of the relationships and, you know, the complexity and subtlety of the description is really very vivid. It just takes you there. It's very easy to imagine being there and witnessing these amazing women, amazing people. It's very alive and just feels feels very real. Yeah.
Thank you, Lucy.
Yeah.
Thank you. David wanted to say something. David, did you want to say something?
Yeah. Well,
David, I missed your wow this time. You always at the end of the meeting say wow, but you didn't say it.
Okay, give us a wow, David.
So,
that story that let everybody get together and that activity that let storytelling get together that that value of storytelling.
Oh, yeah. I love that in where everyone gets together, David.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
That storytelling.
Thank you. Oh, I have a wasp.
Ooh.
Right.
All right. Well, yeah. Yeah, you
Keep
can.
still. Keep very still.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are attracted to movement.
It's being
That's
attracted to the
okay. You
light
know.
that I have
Ah,
on.
yeah. I can't wait to hear the unmasked story.
Whoa.
That's a story for adults, is
Yeah,
it?
that's very.
That's not a
That's,
children's story.
no,
Well,
it's for young adults. I write primarily for children and young adults, although I have written for adults as well. But I think a lot of my work is suitable for adults to read, but I write with teenagers and young adults in mind.
Yes, yeah.
I think every high school in the world needs your books, actually, Paro. I think.
Thank you.
But I've got
Thank
to.
you.
I better do the parish notices because or else David will be jumping in and saying, I haven't. So I am right. Friday, Children's Night. We've got the wonderful poet friend of mine, Nick Toksek. Saturday night at 8 o'clock. I've been working with a group, and we've rewritten one of Mark Twain's short stories and put it at the end of lockdown, and we've set it on the Suffolk coast, and we're doing it as a Zoom drama. They're all amateurs, and they in 2 weeks. This has been put together, was written last week and rehearsed this week. So and it's and it's always a bit of stepping off the cliff when you're doing a play with about 12 people in on Zoom. So this is a challenge, but that's Saturday night, and we'd love you to come along to that. It's called name of the play is It All Started with a Bet. Then the name of the company is a Writing Beyond Recovery, and which can have all sorts of meanings, and especially timely at the moment, I think. And then on Sunday, we've got the amazing Maria Gillan, storyteller, her friend Kathy Carson, a poet, and she's just invited a friend of mine onto that program, Jodie Lee. So that's going to be a brilliant Sunday night, and of course, Monday, and I've still got to invite people to sing this theme. I want to rag to riches theme for connecting the world to story, because I think at the moment we need optimistic themes. And then on Tuesday, of course, we have our young international storytellers, where we have storytellers from all over. We have a girl comes in from Punjab. We have children in Gaza, children in England, in Scotland, wherever. So that's exciting. And what next Wednesday? Unfortunately, there'll be a big hole in our Wednesdays. because Paro has finished that novel.
Me too.
But thank you, Paro. You've been fantastic.
Oh, thank you. No, really, I have to thank you for the opportunity. I just really been challenged by it, sweated over it, spent mornings wondering what, it's very hard when you've written a book to decide what to leave out. That's the hardest. Because you know the weight you've put into every word. And so to decide that this part I'm going to just have to set aside is,
Yeah, it's like asking you to amputate a part of yourself.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you're such an artist.
that I know that right now I writing my own love story about Italy that I need to go back working that story.
Yeah, I think we need to go back. I must order mine. Having encouraged everyone else to. Now it's available. It may be. I mean, Speaking Tiger is an Indian publisher, but in this global world, and I know globalization has become a dirty word, but in this case, it works to our advantage because we can Google. It'll tell you 4 or 5 play. You just put Nomad's Land, Paro Anand.
Yeah.
If you want to be completely flash and put the publisher, you put Speaking Tiger. It's because it's late at night in India. Speaking Tiger in, and it's available. I've checked this on many platforms. That sort of South American forest platform, and others. So please just buy the book, and you'll be hooked. There's about 5 more, or 6 more, or 1,000 more you can have after that. Just look her up.
Paro, is it available through Audible on Amazon?
There is a Kindle version.
Right.
I don't think it's yet on Audible.
Mm.
There is a Kindle version. I know that.
Well, I think if you did an Audible version, you would probably be the best person to read it.
Mm.
So you would read it onto onto something like Audacity, so that you had a good quality recording, and then I think you just upload it onto any platform you want, but onto the Amazon platform. Because a lot of people are buying books through Audible now, because then they can get on with doing other things at the same time. So it might be worth considering doing that, because it might reach a wider audience. Yeah, just an idea anyway.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And I actually am very keen to put my writings onto audio platforms. I actually do have a podcast called Literature in Action, and where I've done a lot of readings of my works. That is on a platform called Hubhopper. And my podcast is called Literature in Action. I have, I think, about 34 episodes now.
Oh.
If you send us through the details on that, we'll put that on your bio on the cafe, but also write it in the World Storytelling Cafe community page, and on FB, and then that, then people will know where to find it.
Right.
Yeah, but if you send the details to Ali, or send it me and I'll forward to Ali. Ali will add it to
Yes,
your.
just send it to me, please.
Yes, I'm putting it. I'm putting it in the chat box.
Ali seemed very keen that it goes straight to him, not to you, John.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's on account of the fact that the odd communication breakdown and the fact that I fail to forward things to him occasionally. So, okay. Ali's email address is Ali at. I'm going to put that. Ali, could you put that in the chat, please? Ali at marrakeshriyadh.com.
Ali?
Ali, could you put your email? Oh, there it is. It's in the chat.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Then
Great.
I have no responsibility whatsoever, which is the way I like.
Is it do we ever put books on where we have like a link for people to go and buy them from Amazon or something, or is that technically too tricky?
No, we put the name of the book on, and whatever we can put whatever you like to put on your bio, Paro. Send it to Ali, not to me. And Ali will add it on to your biography.
Okay. Good. Thank you. I shall do that. I'm writing notes to myself while the wasp is buzzing about.
Well, we'll leave you now to deal with your wasp. And you can either deal with it in a humanitarian way or just think you're a wasp and you sting me. Get out. We leave that decision to you.
I think waspish would be a very nice title for a book or a story. Waspish.
Waspish.
Right, yeah, your notebook, isn't it? It's a writer's notebook. You have an idea, you jot it down. Right. I have, and then I can never find the notebook I made the notes in. Okay, well,
right here.
Well, yeah, I have about 100 that look exactly the same cover. And anyway, that's by the by. That's writer's nonsense. So, Paro, once more, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Please come and join us for all to launch anything you do.
Great, lovely.
We'll provide the platform. And join us for our celebration on the 21st, on the 21st of March.
21st March. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. That was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, Paro. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Ali, for driving the bus. We'll give you 5 minutes break before you have to deal with the Moroccan side of life.
British Moroccan Society, they're called.
Yeah, well,
yeah, I will be there.
I had announced that earlier. I did a proper announcement.
Yes,
British Moroccan Society for their book launch.
Yeah.
I shall catch the recording of that.
Well, yeah, it's going to be about 1 o'clock in the morning by the time
Yep.
I pick up with you. So you're allowed to do it. I'm going to have to do it on catch up myself. But bye bye for everyone now. Bye bye.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank
Ali. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, my friend. Bye bye.